Oh snap, we are back. It's time for another disc review. I'm the Disc Golf Nerd, and today we're checking out the AGL Baobab. AGL, above ground level discs. First time I have tried anything from this brand, and the first time I have reviewed any of it, of course. And always nice to add a new company to the playlist. Sitting at over 300 disc reviews available for you guys to reference. Trying to build this database for you guys for over a decade now, so you can reference and learn about discs. At least get an idea of what to expect, how they feel, how they fly, that sort of thing. This is a very interesting, beefy, overstable approach disc, and you guys know I love these discs. I've been collecting a number of them. If you follow the channel, I have like 20 of them sitting here next to me, different molds and styles of flat-topped, generally overstable approach discs like this, and these slot in very nicely and are among the more beefy in the list for sure. These are quite beefy. AGL, above ground level discs, PDJ approved, of course. There's the website if you want to go look up more information, and the flight numbers are 4, 0, 1, and 3. I would keep these same four numbers. I'd swap them around a little bit if it's me. I'd probably go 1 for glide, 0 for turn. That's my perspective. It is a very, very overstable disc though, and for the most part, I don't mind. You get the idea from this. It's not a crazy exaggeration, nor is it underplaying anything. I think it suits it fine, but if I'm nitpicking, I'm not a huge fan of the positive number. You know, some people say that maybe that means the harder you throw it, the faster it starts to fade out on you. Which is something that happens with certain discs, but I don't know. I've thrown a lot of overstable stuff, and a lot of it, you know, the harder I try to throw it, generally, the more flight I get out of it, and not the other way around. So it could be depending on the disc, and discs that have that really severe puddle top, and this one has that indentation that once air kind of gets on top of it, if you get it like turned over, it does just push and just drop. Extremely low glide, very overstable, and very consistent short-range disc. I want to give a shout-out before you went any further to the sponsor of this disc, a kind gentleman named Roderick Cast. I actually wrote his name on the bottom of this to make sure I remembered who sent it to me. This one is also the woodland material that I like better, so I've marked that as well. Big thank you to Roderick. I'm kind of ashamed. I'm a bit embarrassed by how long I've been stringing this person along. I had these in inventory for quite a while now. I thought I had the footage I was going to need, and I didn't quite get it, so I needed one more filming session. And just life is crazy, and it's been a long time. Excuse, but you know, the bottom line is I'm really happy to bring it to the table. I appreciate Roderick Cast not only sending me these, but also for his patience as I work my way through so much plastic. And that goes for everybody who sends me stuff. It's at the point now, guys, where I just being perfectly honest, I don't even tell companies that I will review a disc that they send me. It's more, I will try it, I'll put it in my unboxing videos, I'll show it on Instagram, and then if I get to it, if I like it, if I want to, I will review it. I will still try to review a lot of stuff, but it's just not possible for me to do what I want to do and review every single mold that I bring in at this point. It's just not a thing. I don't know the weights on these, but there it's marked 175 and yeah, 176. So basically both about max weight. This is more of a premium plastic on this one, and still a nice feel. You can see the design of this thing all along with that very flat puddle top. Literally, like, you could put this down on the counter and fill it with water, and it would hold, too, because you got that little, like, indentation rim there, almost like a little mini swimming pool kind of thing, like a plate on the top there. And then you got a big, squared-off, chunky, kind of blocky outside edge, and no bead. We're going to put this thing next to the Stego soon, which is another gateway-molded, unbelievably overstable disc. Just before we go any further, the Baobab, way more useful of a disc than the Stego in my experience. Just much more usable and useful in your bag as far as I'm concerned. The Stego is just too much. It's not necessary. This thing's plenty beefy. Let me also take a moment just real quick to say this. If this isn't beefy enough for you, you need to learn how to throw better. If something like this isn't overstable enough for your catastrophic form, you're gonna have to do some work in the field. Get some rocks or some neutral mid-ranges, some buzzes, and learn how to throw them on angles, because you got something wonky going on if you're having trouble with these rolling over on you. So the woodland plastic, probably my preferred. It is very rubbery, extremely grippy, really, really nice feel in the hand. And I like the chunky flat top feel. I like the thumb track for my forehands. Solid overall. I probably like this disc better as a forehand approach disc overall than I do backhand. In throwing it backhand, it kind of gets in my head a little bit and kind of overcompensating for how overstable it is. Forehand, I don't care, and my forehand likes to come over on that Anheuser anyway. So it works really well for those kind of chop over forehands if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, let's get everything out of the way here and bring in some stuff to compare it to. Starting off with the Stego. This is a Fossil Flex Stego from Reptilian Discs. It is another Gateway molded company, and this thing is just bananas. I have a video called The Most Overstable Disc in the World that we posted years ago now, and I still kind of stand by it. I still have not thrown anything quite as foolishly, absurdly overstable as the Stego, and once again, head to head, not even close. I'm taking Baobab every single time. I think it feels a little bit better, and it's way more functional. The Stego is just too much. It really doesn't fly. It's like negative flight on the thing. You can see it has a very similar top, but the Stego has like a bead there. It has that scooped out underside. It's got the bead, and the Baobab just has this kind of flattened underside there. So to my eye, and if we bring in my KK approved Gateway Devil Hawk, you can probably tell that the bottom of these is extremely similar, but the Devil Hawk has that larger, kind of more traditional thumb track type design, where the Stego and the Baobab have this indentation out on the outside. I did not try it with the Baobab, but with the Stego, it flies better upside down, basically. If you put your thumb in and throw it upside down, it flies better. It glides more, and it flies better that way, which is super weird. It's the first time that we ever really noticed that. This is way, before the tilt and all that type of stuff. Wysocki Pro Pig. And again, this one has that more rhino, pig, old school thumb track. The Baobab has, again, that like ridge on the outside, but the pig is also slimmer. It's got more of a rounded, pointed front, and the Baobab, you can see, has that flattened underside edge there and that very chunky, squared off rim. We talked about the plastic, we talked about the feel in the hand, did some side-by-side comparisons as we always do, and nothing left to do but talk about the flight of this thing. So I probably like it better as a forehand disc, as I said. I like to kind of release my forehands on Anheuser, and these fly really nice like that. Fly pretty straight when you're putting a severe Anheuser out of the hand, because they kind of are fighting against that turn, and then they kind of swing out into the fade portion, but they don't have as much time to fade back, so they end up landing in a pretty straight line, which is nice. Great forehand roller disc. Probably the only other disc I can think of that's anywhere near the quality of the Mr. Putt and its ability to forehand roll. You can pop this thing down on a very flat angle, and it will still ride on a nice straight line. I didn't test it a ton, but just looking at the design, it makes sense. I've had other people report that that's a solid thing to do with this disc, and based on my few attempts at it, I could definitely see this getting you out of trouble if you needed to go underneath a low ceiling or something like that, where a forehand approach disc roller is handy. It could be a great option for that, no doubt. But yeah, really solid overall approach disc, quite beefy. I probably put it around the same kind of level as like a Sake Bomb Slammer, where it really doesn't want to fly and it really checks up kind of automatically on the distance. So if you have trouble controlling distance on approaches, definitely be a good one for you to look into, because you know, get out in the field, throw it a few times, clock how far it's going, and you're going to know that it's going to be in that range. You're not going to be able to get it much farther than that no matter what you do. So you can kind of just aim it out to the right a little bit for a backhand, rip it, know it's going to swing in left to some degree. I have to put this thing on some Anheuser or really concentrate on getting it flat out of the hand to get much flight at all. Otherwise, it's a very short-range chip shot type disc. Does like to kind of scoot around on the ground a little bit depending on how you throw it, so you could probably get some skips out of it, but you can also, if you get it to land flat with some of those Anheuser releases, it'll just slide up on a straight line. So really nice disc that I enjoyed testing. Happy to get some AGL plastic here in the reviews playlist. Always great to add another company to the playlist, as I've represented more different disc golf manufacturers and companies over the years than just about anybody else in the world. 300 disc reviews for you guys to reference in the playlist below, 300 plus at this point. And thank you very much to everybody for watching. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much once again to Roderick Cast. Sincere public apology to Roderick for how long I've had these in the inventory. For all I know, Roderick Cast doesn't even play disc golf anymore with how long I've had these, but I apologize, and I'm happy to finally add him to the playlist now. Thank you once again for sending him over and for your patience. I love and appreciate and respect all of you. I will talk to you very soon. Cheers.